Come on, guys. Today I'm going to introduce you
Okay.
to, I only watch college basketball. Raise your hand. All right, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Fred Brown, 1984 NCAA National Champion. NCAA National Champion, Georgetown University. I've been trying to get him back here to New York to teach y'all for the last 5 years. And he came a few weeks ago to 180, worked with some of the Pulse kids, and said this got to be one of the greatest places in New York City. I know you all know that, so I don't need to give you a long story about that. But I had to make sure I can convince him academically serious and making a commitment to themselves. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Fred Brown. He here to teach you some real stuff so that you can go on. He already know you all going to college, but he'd like for you all to go to college so he can sit down and watch y'all on TV like I had the chance of watching him on TV. Okay? And if you're lucky, you may one day be signing that $9.3 million contract. In that case, you'll remember me and him, and you'll come back and give him some of that green. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fred Brown.
So before we get started, anybody who has jewelry on has to take it off. You cannot play with jewelry, you cannot play with earrings, you cannot play with bands on your hand, on your wrist, all that. Anybody know why you can't do that? Right? If your hand gets caught in it, if you have a necklace on, somebody's creating a foul, pulls you off, can choke you to death. So all those are reasons why you cannot play with jewelry. It's a technical foul if you were trying to play with it. So what we do is what we're going to practice is as you would do on the basketball court. We're going to go through a lot of series of things, and you'll find some of the stuff I do without a basketball because everybody thinks they need it.
I understand you have some health issues. Do you think your health issues are related to just stress overall, or?
No, well, who knows? The doctors, the only thing you do is talk to them about a wide variety of things, but I found out that it's genetic, one, blood clots in the blood from family, genes. Some of it I was doing a lot of traveling and driving in the car long distance continuously, and so that affected my health, and certainly not working out. I used to work out pretty consistently, and I got away from that. So I think those three factors. I had 2 heart attacks. I had a pulmonary embolism and a mild heart attack, and then I had a heart attack a year later.
Wow.
So I'm on Coumadin for the rest of my life. They said I was too young to do surgery or whether they wanted to. I stayed in intensive care for about 4 weeks.
Wow.
And they did all kind of things to thin out the blood and get it under control. So I just take an aspirin every day and in the evening take the warfarin to thin out the blood.
That's got to be very scary.
Oh yeah, it actually is pretty scary. You know, it changed your life. You know, you're never thinking about death at the age of 45. So it certainly made me more conscious. And now I certainly need to work out more. Now that I'm training kids, working with kids with my nonprofit, it now gives me the opportunity to be more active.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll get my weight under control, my activities under control, and be able to be in better health.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I see this motorcycle here.
Oh yeah.
What does that do in terms of like life-changing health issues?
Well, interesting enough, they told me that I would. They told me that I needed to not ride the motorcycle. And I told them that wasn't going to happen. That if I died, and I tell my children this all the time, know that I died doing something I love. I am not giving up my motorcycle.
Okay.
I'm not giving up motorcycle, and I'm not giving up bacon.
Okay.
So I love motorcycle riding. I always loved motorcycle riding. I had a moped when I grew up in the community.
Okay.
That's how I got around, and actually brought my moped down with me to Georgetown.
Wow.
And,
Okay. All right.
Now that I'm able to elevate to the big motorcycle. I love it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's great. That's great. That's really, really great. I know you mentioned you brought your moped up from the hood, from Soundview. I also noticed that you have gone back to Soundview.
Yes.
You have gone back. You've gone back with Project Hope.
Yes.
Project Hope. Tell me more. Project Hope is your baby.
Yeah. What and it's interesting. About 20 years ago, I came up with the name Process Hope, help overcome poverty through education. And I tried to get it off the ground back then and wasn't successful in raising funds. As I went back and got a master's in athletic administration with the thought that I was going to get involved in college coaching.
Okay.
I did not have any success, got any bites as I continued to try to get into coaching. And at the same time, I got involved in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to ask God, what is it that you'll have me do?
Okay.
What, we oftentimes do something for our own purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but it's God's purpose for us. And so with that, I, took the concept that I had before and started working with it. And one of the things that it says biblically is God will provide the provisions for you necessarily to do what you need done.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, we've been able to go back to Soundview. We did a big event in Soundview. They have a Soundview reunion day. We worked with the boys. Then we went to Bronxdale,
Mm-hmm.
and we did something there with the girls, all girls.
Uh-huh.
And we do stuff here in Prince George's County, like I said, with the Police Athletic League. And there's some other outreach programs that exist that we join forces with to help.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we've been blessed to affect change. We feed about 40 to 60 families a week.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some good things that happen.
So you feed the 40-60, that's through Project Hope, or that's through the church ministry, or is it a combination effort of both parties?
It's a combination. So what happens, every Thursday I go to a church 2 hours from my home, out in Herndon, Virginia. And,
Wow, okay.
And they service a community. So in there, they have about 40 to 60 people that they feed. Oftentimes, they're food left over, or and then I would take it instead of us dispersing it and throwing it away. I would take it and then I help families who are in needs. There's always people know that's what I do now. So if there's a family in need, somebody lost their job, some incident happened, then sometimes people just need short-term help. And so I'm able to give them food that will supplement the income that they lost to help them feed their family.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. It's actually been a blessing.
But now, let me ask you a question. Another question actually is, when you go back into the family community, because it's very different now. When you look at that kid, that would have been you, or that kid that reminds you of you.
Right.
And now you're servicing that community. What is that feeling like? There's elation that's involved. But what other, is there that feeling that brings you back in terms of emotional aspect involved? Or what is that feeling like?
Well, it's the feelings vary because what happens is sometimes, you could get so far removed from a community or a way of life that you don't realize the small things you do are big to them. Right. Impacting them in a way that you never think. But so I have to reflect on the people who were mentors to me. I have to reflect on, I remember Louis Gossett came and spoke at one of the tournaments we won at Rutgers. And he was the speaker who gave the awards, and he gave a speech. Tiny Archibald came and spoke at an event that I went to. So those people, Dr. J, actually, I played one-on-one with Dr. J when I was 11 years old when Stevenson Commerce opened up. And so all those things, again, as an adult, you're looking back, go, wow, I can't impact that. I may not have whatever that person needs. But sometimes we forget just spending time with the kids, letting them know you sat in the very seat that they sit in now, that there is a way, resources out there to help them. Helping parents to understand that you could be a support, a sounding board, or some guidance with them. So all those things are awesome. And so to be able to give back and to help people in your community, and guess what? There's sound views around the world. So there's the emotional tie I have when I go back, because a lot of those kids are actually working with grandchildren of the people that I grew up with. And I didn't know until I hear the names.
Wow.
Percy McAdoo, Henry Ward. I was working with their grandchildren. So it's like, wow, I knew your granddaddy, I knew your grandma, I knew, so there's a different emotion tied to that. When I go to Southeast or I go in Prince George's County and work with other kids, I may not know some of their parents intimately like I did the people in Soundview. So there's additional emotional tie to it. But just working with youth and being able to impact their lives and impact families is just an awesome, blessing for me. People don't understand the blessing is in giving, not in receiving. Absolutely. So I'm blessed to be able to give and help people.
Absolutely. And the same thing in terms of growth, because, in terms of personal growth, everyone's growth is different.
Right.
And as a society, we have a tendency to assume if you're living in the same area that you haven't grown.
Right.
And that's very false, and we know that as people, we know that's false. But sometimes there are people you've grown and you meet or encounter people when you go back to the community that has not grown at all. And when that occurs, how do you function, or how do you move in that? Or do you? Or is it?
Yeah, I think that, one, you're saddened, when you come across people that you grew up with and you didn't see a lot of growth. But the truth of the matter is, if you study history, I was a sociology major in undergraduate school, the cycle is a vicious cycle. And so, although people want to say, I don't blame people for getting stuck. It says in the Bible, we will always have poor people. Everybody can't take an advantage of situations. Everybody can't, we would hope that everybody understands and has a vision and see it, but the reality is they don't. And so it saddens me to know that there's a better life that people can have, but it's the same thing with Jesus Christ. I mean, he is the way, and you could talk to people and you can see that they don't understand and appreciate it. You can't get mad at them. You just got to continue to, again, as we talked earlier, throw the seed. And so I love them. When I come in contact with anybody that I grew up with or I meet, I love them and meet them where they are. I accept them for who they are. They know less because they stayed in the community. They know more because they got out of the community.
Right.
We all grew up and had advantages, disadvantages, struggles, trials and tribulations, and we all land where we are. I wish I could say my life was perfect, that I didn't have no peaks and no valleys, but right. I had more failures than I had success, and with that, life continues to go on. And that's the same way I feel about the basketball. That's what I'm saying. It's only a game. It's the high of winning MVP, the low of losing. It's life.
It's life. It certainly is life. It certainly is. And I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for, sharing your beautiful home.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And it was great.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.